The year was 1990 when Kenner released the first series of Swamp Thing action figures, based on the animated series by the same name. Apart from the unproduced toys we featured in the last episode, the rarest toy to come out of this line has got to be the camouflage Swamp Thing. Well, the variant. Released in the first production run, but with a gimmick that didn't work out as planned, so a recall was done. The initial toy had a feature that would allow the color to change, so the Swamp Thing could blend in with its surroundings. Later, Kenner released the same figure, but with a full green chest. When it comes in contact with cold water, the green will turn into root-colored brown. Probably the color change worked better with the section covering a big area instead of being sprinkled around, and in the end, the recall did make it a valuable variant. It's rare due to the low production run, although higher value is not the case with all recall toys. Then again, the reason to recall some toys didn't always have a harmless reasoning behind it. In some cases, toys would be a lot more dangerous or controversial, leading into a nationwide or just some household bans. Sometimes they'd make the toys even more desired as they were talked about more, and in doing so, fetching them a lot of cash on the secondary market. From malfunctioning toys to toys being used for different purposes, here is our next installment in the banned, recalled, and controversial toy series. If you're into 80s and 90s retro toys, then please subscribe to the channel and let's strap in for some toy history. In 1986, the Rambo's Forces of Freedom toy line came under fire, not by being based on a violent movie series, or that they came with tons of guns, but due to one of the characters in the villain's cast. The Coleco toy line called the villains the Savage Army, which consisted of General Warhawk, Black Dragon, Gripper, and Nomad. And it's the last one that a lot of people had a problem with. Nomad is a treacherous desert warrior. He is unstable as the blowing desert sands, as cold as the desert nights, and as dangerous as the deadly desert scorpion. His only family is a wandering band of cutthroats and thieves. They are men without honor who use their knowledge of the desert to carry out terrorist assaults on innocent villages. The figure came with a battle action, has a darker skin color, prominent nose, and wears a loose hooded cloak called a burnous. The Arab American Anti-Discrimination Committee found this offensive and a form of negative stereotyping, so they protested. That's when Coleco's vice president came in to say the figure wasn't intended to be offensive to any religious, ethnic, or national group. The figure wasn't meant to be viewed as an Arab, but more intended as a fictitious character of vague origins. Coleco then stopped advertising and manufacturing the figure, with dolls already in stock still to be sold, but in case retailers wanted to return it, they could get reimbursed. Seems like John Rambo would have had a better chance at winning the toy chest war without this desert warrior on the opposite side.
It wasn't my war! You asked me, I didn't ask you!
Then again, it's not all about looks. Even when you're a toy, anything you say can and will be used against you. Judge Barbie will agree on this, but Teen Talk Barbie, released at 1992's Toy Fair, could sure talk a lot. She had a microchip installed that would be programmed to say 4 phrases out of a library of 270 different ones. Phrases included, "Will we ever have enough clothes? I love shopping, and Mac class is tough." The American Association of University Women took personal offense to that last one in the Teen Talk Barbie lexicon. The phrase had to be taken out. Even educators, including the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics, objected to the phrase being discouraging to girls to learn math and science. And lastly, lots of the phrases enraged the Barbie Liberation Organization as well. So they decided to draw attention to the matter by changing the voice boxes of approximately 300 Teen Talk Barbies, with those intended for Hasbro's G.I. Joe figure Talking Duke. So it wasn't too strange to walk by a Barbie toy aisle in 1993 and hear phrases like, "Eat lead, Cobra," "Attack," or "Vengeance is mine," coming from Barbie's lips, at least in certain stores in New York and California. The Barbie Liberation Organization regarded the original voice lines as outdated gender stereotypes, and with all these protests, Mattel took the phrase out of future dolls and offered an exchange to purchasers who had a doll with that phrase. In 1994, the controversy was written into a Simpsons episode, where Lisa would get a Malibu Stacy doll with a similar stereotype quote.
Thinking too much gives you wrinkles.
Mattel's president did come out with a letter to the Association of University Women saying the company had made a mistake. In hindsight, the phrase, "math class is tough," while correct for many students, both male and female should not have been included, she wrote. We didn't fully consider the potentially negative implications of this phrase, nor were we aware of the findings of your organization's report. Now, there's estimated to be 3,500 Teen Talk Barbies out there with the phrase, "math class is tough." One's being sold for $25, and now these are fetching between $500 to $1,000 for banned Barbie toy collectors. Yeah.
No escape for the guilty. Vengeance is mine.
But it wasn't only Barbie who attracted criticism with her talk. McFarlane Toys introduced Death Row Marv to the toy market in 1999 for $23.95. When flicking the switch on the toy, the voice box would say, "Is that the best you can do?" As you also see his whole body vibrating and his eyes light up. Yeah, with this toy you could do your own executions, just like in the Frank Miller graphic novel it's based on, Sin City. Watch Marv convulse as the switch is thrown, is what it reads on the box. You can't blame parents for not being familiar with the comic series. All they saw was just a toy that allowed kids to perform a death sentence and execute their toy over and over again. Then again, it was marketed for ages 13 and up comic book readers, doing very well for the main target group ranging from 15 to 45-year-old males. For McFarlane Toys, the first production run was completely sold out in pre-order sales. Actually more of an interactive statue with almost no articulation but sculpted by one of the Four Horsemen. Even though it wasn't marketed to kids, some activist groups just had to protest against this toy making a joke out of the death penalty. Now in the end, all of these complaining articles, all they ever did was get the word out for McFarlane Toys even more. And then a couple of years later, NECA came onto the toy market with just the same Marv figure, this time based on the movie, and nobody complained. So yeah, no one protested. But then again, it wouldn't be the last time a vibrating toy got into trouble. Take for example the Nimbus 2000 electronic broomstick, straight out of the Harry Potter books and movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It was designed purely for you to fantasize winning the Quidditch tournament yourself. Basically a revved up witch broom released by Mattel in 2001. Targeted to kids, but little did Mattel know that it could please all ages. And was particularly popular for the females. On the box it read, "Jump on the broom and fly me." You could even try out the toy in stores while it was still in its packaging as you pressed the button for magical swooshing sounds. Every Quidditch player dreams of riding a Nimbus 2000. Now, just like Harry Potter, you can train with the Gryffindor Quidditch team on the gold standard of broomsticks. Practice your best seeker moves and keep your eye out for the golden snitch. Also on the package, you got to note the fastest ever flying experience. And note, the broom does not really fly, but it makes up for it by vibrating. So yeah, fast forward after a couple months on the market and you had the toy popping up in lots of reviews on Amazon warning parents to keep the batteries out when giving it to their kids. And the toy would also pop up in adult stores. Not the adults collectible kind we all love, offering the toy amongst their assortment for double the online retail price. Now to this day, you can still find the stimulating broom on eBay, but soon after the release, Amazon removed the listing from their site and Mattel had to discontinue the product. Over to Aqua Beads, yeah, not the ones you broomstick fans are thinking about. Bindy's Beados Pixos. Maybe you've heard of this children's toy in which you create designs with small colored plastic beads, but when it was released by Spin Master under the name Aqua Dots, the product had to come to a recall in 2007. The coating on the beads that causes the beads to stick to each other when water is added contains a chemical that can turn toxic when many are ingested. Children who swallow the beads can become comatose, develop respiratory depression, or have seizures. With kits ending in comas, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission even fined the maker Spin Master with $1.3 million for the now banned hazardous substance. The beads were basically coated with GHB, a pharmacologically active sedative prodrug, also known as the date rape drug. There were allegations against the subcontracted company who, in order to create it, deliberately substituted the safe chemical coating for the dangerous one to save on money. So a recall was needed and executed. But you can still get the remarketed Aqua Dots with the safe coating now. Just maybe don't try to eat it. In the late 90s, pro wrestling WWF, now WWE, pushed the limits of good taste, and when translated to toys, it wasn't the best recipe. For the wrestler toy representation of Al Snow, he had an onstage gimmick in which he would speak to a female mannequin head in the ring as part of his crazy persona. This head was also included and didn't go down well with an assistant professor at a university who complained to Walmart's management, and in doing so got the toys pulled off of shelves. What kind of message would the toys send her sons about the brutalization of women, is what the professor asked. The figure in the spotlight was the SummerSlam 99 Road Rage Al Snow toy. Now, if they had seen one tournament, they would have known the head wasn't an actual head, but a mannequin's head. Yeah, they would have seen the mannequin's head was giving the wrestler in question good advice on how to win the match. He was not carrying around a severed female head. Get ready for the newest in the World Wrestling Federation, the Road Rage Tour Collection. These figures come equipped with body-bashing accessories like breakable table, a barricade, or a suitcase with a baby-like head with synthetic hair for Al Snow. Jim Byrne, WWF's Vice President for Marketing, defended the action figure. Al Snow's act with the mannequin head is as silly as it gets. It's loads of fun. And now let's take it all the way up to 2021. Nowadays, it doesn't even matter what the toy says, it doesn't matter what it reads on the box, but the actual person the toy is based on can have an immediate impact on how the toy gets cancelled, recalled, or becomes controversial. In 2021, whatever you say, tweet, or Instagram can have an impact on the toys you represent. And after a couple of controversial Insta posts made by Gina Carano, Lucasfilm dropped the actress and also all the products she represented in the Star Wars universe. The MMA fighter played Cara Dune on the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. Cara is a veteran of the Galactic Civil War who fought under the banner of the Rebellion. Cara Dune is a seasoned warrior. Shortly after the news got out about her being dropped, the action figures were sold out on the Hasbro store, and retailers were told that their pre-order offers weren't being fulfilled. Hasbro had canceled the production on the toys sharing her likeness. It seemed like every collector was out for the Cara Dune figure in February of 2021, skyrocketing the price for the figures by scalpers on eBay, with the Vintage Collection one going for $80 and the Black Series fetching $150 or even more. The Black Series had its first run in 2020, but was already sold out, with many hoping to get one in the second production run. The Black Series toys are targeted to kids ages 4 and up, and this Star Wars Black Series action figure comes with 3 Cara Dune inspired accessories that could make a great addition to any Star Wars collection. Do you have any controversial toys in your collection? Then please leave them down in the comments below. You can also check out the previous videos I made on banned and recall toys. And if you're into this type of 80s and 90s toy content, then please subscribe to the channel for weekly videos. Please leave a like, check out my socials, and if you want to do more or support the channel, you can always do that on my Patreon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.